I think we can forget about getting any points in the next race weekend, which is in Belgium, because our engine is crap compared to everyone else's. Hey everyone, welcome to Season 1, Episode 13, which is unlucky for some, in Race to the Top. I'm Ian. In today's episode, of course, as always, all the build-up to Ardennes, which is in Belgium, in 38 days' time. Qualifying is expected to be wet, but this is the big thing that I'm a little bit concerned about. Top speed is going to be crucial here, and if we go and have a quick look at our car, you can see our top speed is the 9th best out of 10. So we're not doing particularly well in the engine department. We are designing a new engine, but as you can see, it'll be ready in just over 42 days, which is 4 days after the race. So, unfortunately, I balls that up, didn't I? But what we are going to have to look at is I am going to pick up a couple of new pit crew. But first of all, we do have this question. Of course, Joey Mawson was beaten by Ryan Tvedder today. Would you consider bringing him in next season? Perhaps it's a little too early to be talking about it. Joey Mawson's not very happy, but then he never is. We are going to be looking at bringing in some new pit crew for the race, because we are starting to struggle a little bit in regards to their fatigue. Their stamina's way down. As you can see, Kajama, we're going to have to take him out just because mistake percentage is very high. Lindman is also in need of a break, but we don't really have anyone that can fulfill that front jack, except for Kajama, who needs a break. So what we're going to do is, I think we'll bring in Ankuri. I think is probably the best for this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring Ankuri in for Lindman, and then I'm going to swap out Kajama for Valhalla. And then we're going to hire a couple of guys, because as you can see, we've got refueling next year. If you remember, one of the votes that we had to vote on was refueling. We've got Ranhel with 10 and Lindman with 10. But if we go to hire, we've actually got two great guys here in Nikula and Antonin, who are brilliant. And for £2,000, you can't really complain too much, can you? So I think what we'll do is we're going to bring in Antonin, because he's pretty good at fixing tyres, as you can see. So we'll hire him. Because what we may do is, as we're hiring him, I may even bring him in now. I think what I'll do is I'll swap him out with Ranhel, and then I'm going to put Ranhel up into the front. Yeah, because Kurtio he's swapping tyres out is pretty low. So that way we've got good tyre change there. Fixing still a little bit low, which that's a minor concern. But we haven't had to fix any parts, and I'm not anticipating having to fix any parts for the rest of the season, because we're not really improving any more parts. We are just merely fixing reliability. I think we should be okay. We shouldn't have to worry too much about fixing parts, but we do have a dilemma. We're running an expose on Carlin and their awful working practices. We've had testimonials from their mechanics saying that they're overworked, understaffed, and in a ton of debt. Would you be willing to let us interview your mechanics to give our readers a reference point? They might have a few things to say about your own drivers, but it'll bring Carlin down a few pegs. Our mechanics relationships go down. Carlin marketability goes down. Where are Carlin on the standings? Carlin are dead last. Their marketability's dirt poor anyway. So no way. I'm not going to do that, and we'll just keep on sliding through. So yeah, like I say, all we're going to be doing really now, our mechanics, is just fixing up reliability, which is pretty much as high as it can go, really, isn't it? There's not really much more we can do reliability-wise. We will fix up suspension there, because that looks quite low. Rear wing needs to be fixed on as well. But look, yeah, these last sort of 4 episodes are going to be pretty dull, really, aren't they? I mean, the race in Belgium, unfortunately, we are going to do nothing in this race because we are just so poor. And so we do have to look at next season, really. That's the big thing, isn't it? Next season's the most important one. Where we are in the standings, I don't know. I'm expecting to be near the back. I'm not expecting to be as high up the grid as we are at the moment, purely because that previous comment that I received from Nicholas, I believe it was, where the season does get tougher, and I'm in full agreement with that. It does. So, yeah, unfortunately, this could be a bit of a golden era for Koiranen GP, because once Season 2 starts, I don't think we're going to be getting as many points as we did this year, which is a bit disappointing. I'm a bit sad about that. But in saying that, we're going to be keeping an eye out on job offers, because if another team comes along, and in fact we can even have a quick look here. We got like 3 teams there at risk. We could possibly apply for. We could stay in Formula 3 even if we want. We could go to Prima Power Team. They're at risk. We could go to Prima Power Team. Think how good that'd be. Then you got the DTM series. You got GT. I mean, I wouldn't expect to be any. I think going to DTM would be pretty cool. You could go to HWA. They're 8th in the championship. I don't see that as a problem, to be honest. I really don't. So the factory staff are done, but Joey Mawson is continuing with his Lewis Hamilton way of going through his career, because he's now got another personality trait where he's got his own clothing line going. He's designing clothing now, which, remember, how many episodes ago was that? 6 or 7 episodes ago, where it came out that he was a fashionista and was doing really, really well. So that's whatever makes him happy, I suppose. But as we can see, we've got reliability bumping right up. We might as well improve the rear wing, and might as well bump up this one to the full 100, just because it's so crucial. Although how the front wing's doing, front wing's actually probably a bit more important too, so we might even bump that one up rather, just to get them fully up to the 100 before we go into the race weekend, which I will be amazed if both our drivers get into the points in this race. Of course, we're quite even. The 2 most crucial parts is the engine and the front wing. Front wing's a spec part, so it's all down to engine, essentially, and driver ability, which is a very small percentage. And so, unfortunately, our drivers aren't that great. We don't have a good engine, and the one part that we do have that's really good is the front wing, but everyone else has the same part. So what we'll quickly do is we'll quickly go and have a look at these sponsors, because we've got just over a week to go for the race. An upfront payment. Ooh, isn't that nice? 8 races, £5.6 million. We got target positions on these 2, and if anything, this would be the worst time to go for the target positions, because we're not going to achieve that in this next race. So whether I want to or not, or whether you think I should or not, we have to go to Sonax, because we're getting money up front, and more importantly, we don't have to worry about target positions, because in this next race we aren't going to be reaching those targets of 5th or 6th. That's really bumped our money up quite substantially now. So what I'm thinking I may even start looking at doing, I might wait until after this race, is actually finally building what I wanted to do, which is the forecasting centre. Other things, I don't really feel like they're worth it. There's a lot of cheaper stuff. The simulator would be a lot cheaper, which gives driver consistency and driver adaptability a bit of improvement. But really, I mean, like, we could even go to the handling centre, because driver cornering is very low for both our drivers, which the handling development centre would improve. Because if we have a quick look at our drivers, you can actually see, where are we, driver details? Cornering 1 for Joey Mawson, Falcaro 1, and I think Fuoco's 2. Yeah, he is, and Fuoco's 2. So that's something that we could do, and of course it'd be a bit cheaper, wouldn't it? It would be a lot cheaper to build the handling centre, because it's only $5 million, whereas the forecasting centre is $6 million. But of course the forecasting centre will help us massively in race strategy, because we'll obviously just get that little bit more knowledge of what's coming up in regards to the weather. But we do have another vote, which is equality focused merit payments. I'm not really bothered, to be honest, so I'm just going to abstain from this one. Yes, it would be nice to have a bit of extra money, but, depending on where you finish, but, whatever. It looks like it's going to get up anyway, and we've abstained. And so that's actually worked out quite well for us, because it does mean that next year when we finish dead last, which is more than likely, we're going to be earning very similar money to everyone else, which we'll have a look, actually, go to next year's rules. So there's absolutely no difference in prize money awarded from the top and bottom teams. At the moment, there's a very small difference, standard merit payments. Yeah, so the higher up you finish in the standings, you get slightly more money, but it's a almost negligible amount, really. So that's whatever, it doesn't bother me. I mean, the difference between the current merit payments and the ones next year is so small anyway. It's sort of like, maybe £1 million difference from top to bottom as it is, so whatever. It's completely pointless to me. Here we go then. So it is a 42-lap race this weekend in Ardennes. It's a lap record of 148.3. That will be absolutely smashed. And Sunday's showing a 40% chance of rain. It's a high-speed circuit, so the strong engines are very, very crucial. And Muka Motorsport are expected to dominate, with having this super powerful engine of theirs. The tyre compounds chosen are super softs and softs, which we're quite well known. We've been using them quite a lot this season. But our car's one of the best on the grid when it comes to tyre wear, so we should be well placed to benefit from that. But it's, again, pretty negligible, isn't it? You don't see a massive difference. Now, Julian Falcaro wants a bit of a question. Could we have a word with Magdalena about getting some new brakes sorted for the car? Maybe. Brakes aren't that crucial, I don't think, in this season. It's all about acceleration. What I'm thinking of doing is once this second engine's built, maybe improving the gearbox just right before the end, before that final race, which I believe is in Munich. Yes, it is. So gearbox will be the next thing that we improve. Brakes, I don't think are very crucial, to be honest. So, quite frankly, Falcaro can fuck off because I don't care what he says. T-Sport have upgraded their factory. That's going to cost them a lot of money, but as you can see, we are already running out of things to improve reliability on, so we're just going to keep going on the engine for now because, let's be honest, there's not really much to do. We're coming up to the end of the season now. We are on track A, which is the whole circuit. I believe there's actually only one circuit, isn't there? There's no differences in this. It's this circuit or nothing. Qualifying is expected to be heavy rain, and there's a 40% chance of rain on the race. Fingers crossed, eh? Let's see how we go. If we do have a quick look at the parts before we jump in, I believe Mawson has got the better engine part, which is, as you can see, his performance is 132 compared to Falcaro's 130, so it makes absolutely no difference, really. So maybe Joey Mawson may benefit from those extra 2 pips in the qualifying and the race, but I wouldn't have thought so. 2 pips is nothing, is it? And I'll see you for the qualifying. So here we are then, qualifying, and I am not looking forward to this session at all. In practice, we were 19th and 20th, if you'd believe that. I gave Falcaro a break after his little excursion into the gravel in the previous race, so Fuoco came in. Joey Mawson was 20th, would you believe, and Fuoco just pipped him right at the end. We did only set the time on the soft tyres, to be fair, rather than the super softs, purely because, as you can see, in fact, I'll go back in so you can see, we managed to get soft tyres and race trim for the race. I figure the race is more important. The soft tyres actually last the whole race. We'll actually have a quick look at that. As you can see, nailed Mawson's strategy, got it up to 98% in terms of happiness, so I'm pretty pleased with that. I see they've actually gone down now. The softs are only anticipated to last 40 laps now. Obviously, that little bit of knowledge helped. It's a 42-lap race. So I'm thinking, with the softs lasting as long as they do, I'm thinking maybe we start on the softs. We're going to be near the back of the grid. That's going to happen. Then we go on to the super softs at the end of the race, assuming it doesn't rain, obviously, because it looks like, as you can see, the rain is about to come down. Do I go out now? I think I might as well. I think we might as well go out and set a time, just because of the water on track. We're going to be burning through these super softs anyway, so it doesn't really matter. But yeah, so we did appallingly. We were miles behind on the lap times on the charts, and again, Ryan Tovetto is leading the championship, as you'll remember. Ran away with it. He was on the softs, and he was the 4th fastest. He was the quickest on the softs. Again, he races for Motorsport, who are doing very, very well. I'm going to send out Mawson now, even though I know this rain's coming down, and I will send out Falcaro as well, right behind him, to see if we can get something done before this rain hits. But yeah, as I was saying, so we were so far behind. Now, we didn't do anything on the super softs, so I'm not expecting to do anything in qualifying either. And the fact that we were dead last on the softs, by quite some way, I think this is going to be a very, very long race weekend for us. But the rain is starting to come down, and it looks like it's going to get a lot heavier, so we actually may as well come in. There's absolutely no point in coming out. We've got a few people setting laps, but with this rain, we don't see... We've been quite lucky. The last 3 races, we haven't had any rain, but then, of course, 2 of them were in the Middle East, which makes a big difference. So, in fact, I am going to bring these guys in, because there's not much point in sending them out in this crappy weather. Because look how heavy it... Look at that. By sort of just after minute 5 there, or with 5 minutes to go, I should say, it'll be a full wet, which is just pointless. And we're going to try and hope that the rain eases off a little bit, but it looks like it might be in to stay. So some of these guys have gone out on intermediates, which was a pretty good gamble, I think. But look how dark it's getting. So, look, we could be stuck here. It looks like the rain does ease off with about 4 minutes to go, though. So, we may be able to go out on the intermediates. A couple of cars have gone around there. They are on... in fact, everyone's on their outlaps now. But some have gone out on the super softs, which would be a complete disaster. We are going to wait this out. Because there you go. The sun pops out with 3 minutes to go. Ooh, what do we do? So let's watch Tondela then, because he's going to be the man on pole, and he's set the fastest lap, but he's going on the fastest first sector rather, but he's on the super soft. So expect to see anyone on these intermediates when they eventually come to their outlap. Expect to see them blister the time that Tondela has. Tondela's just going. Look how slow he's going around this track. He's really struggling. The track's completely soaked. I don't think even the intermediates are good enough at the moment. So we've got a little possibility because the track's such a long track as well. We may get something here. The sun is coming out. There you go. Look, the rain's starting to fall away. The water on track's starting to fall away now, and we're starting to grip up. So I think with about 3 minutes to go, I think we go out. So Tondela's gone fastest, obviously, with a 1:48.9, and everyone's piling in behind him. Sims, PK, Hyman, they're all struggling a little bit. But now everyone on these intermediates is setting times. That may be the correct time, the correct tyre for this current track condition. As Norris has gone fastest in the first sector, Aaron's gone fastest in the second. So we'll quickly cut over to Norris then, as I'm keeping an eye on the time. So what I may do is I might send out Mawson now, and we'll send him out onto the super soft tyres. We still have 2 tyres left over, so I'm quite happy with that. Because if the rain comes down in the race and we sort of can go super soft and rain and then super soft or something like that, then we should be okay. But Norris looks to be setting a blistering lap as he's gone fastest in the second sector, but lots of people are going quickest in the first sector. As Mick Schumacher sets temporary pole, but there you go. Look, they're all coming across now with faster times. There goes Norris. So Norris is fastest with a 1:41.5. We haven't seen much of him really, have we, this season? He's been near the back for most of it, and that's that team Carlin, remember, who are actually dead last in the championship, and they're doing very, very well currently. But we will cut back to Mawson because he's the man of the moment for us, isn't he? He's the one that we're more focused on, because if he stuffs up, then we've got no hope. But in saying that, Falcaro's not too bad either. When he goes in qualifying, he's been a bit, because I think he beat Mawson, didn't he? He beat Mawson in the last race in qualifying, or was that in Doha? I can't remember, but they've been quite even. But Mawson's sort of just been getting the edge over him lately. Falcaro's actually sitting just behind him, and Mawson gets good and great for his temperatures, and Falcaro's got perfect tyre temperatures, and his brake temperatures are good as well. So this is it. This is the big one. Can we set a decent time? I'm not expecting to get anything out of this really at the start of the session, because practice went so appallingly, but here we are, and we've got the best tyres. There's a couple of people on outlaps who may pip us, as Mawson's gone fastest in the first sector now. Falcaro's 1.2 seconds improvement on Norris's time, so we could be right up there. We might be in the top sort of 6 or 7 cars on the grid, assuming all these people on their outlaps manage to cross the line. It doesn't look like they are, so it's between Mawson and Falcaro. Mawson's gone fastest in the second sector. He's up massively. He's nearly 2 seconds over Norris. Falcaro's going around at 1.5 seconds up on Norris. So, hey, this is looking pretty good. We could have cars on first and second on the grid here. Unbelievably so. We're only going to fall backwards as Mawson crosses the line, and he goes fastest with a 1:39.3. Falcaro half a second behind him, but we are first and second on the grid because we waited out that rain. I'm delighted with that. I wasn't expecting it, really, to be honest with you, but patience is a virtue in this sport, isn't it? You just got to wait out the rain sometimes. So, hey, first and second on the grid for the first time ever. I'm pretty thrilled with that. We've got Lando Norris right behind us for Carlin Motorsport. I don't know how good their car is, though. We'll have to have a look at that, because they might start to fall back as well. I'm expecting us to fall back. That's to be expected. The man that I'm really concerned about is this guy down in 13th, Ryan Tondela for Muka Motorsport. Their car is very, very good, and he's starting down in 13th, and his teammate is in 17th, Daniel Ticktum, who's had quite a quiet last few races where we haven't been hearing much of him. And Pedro Piquet, I believe, is second in the championship. Now, Amersfoort themselves are very close to us, so we've got to keep an eye on them. And they're 16th and 18th. And I can't think who the other team is. Prima Power Team is the other team, and they've got Gunther on 10th and Schumacher on 6th. I think we may get something out of this. And hey, if Mooka stays down there, which I can't see that happening, but if they stay down there, we've got a chance of we could be closing that gap on top spot. Wow. I hope you liked that, because I fucking loved it. Give us a thumbs up. That was cool. And I'll see you tomorrow for the race. Expect us to fall down the grid, though, unfortunately.